Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Daily Crypto Byte. As always, I am joined by my co-host CJ Reichel, and today is Tuesday, July 27th, and I'm excited for today's episode, CJ, because you got me fired up. You said I got some bullish stuff to share today, so let's hop right into it, my friend, because I'm always in the mood for some bullish charts.
Let me share a quote real quick because I think it's important, and I think that we should really kind of embrace this type of mindset. Here we go. Okay, Michael Steinhardt, the markets are always changing, and the successful trader needs to adapt to these changes. So let's ask ourselves, what has changed? Because for me, and I think what I'm going to be doing during the majority of the show is making a point for why we've actually hit some critical turning points in this trend and why we actually may bottom. Personally, I guess I'll just start by saying I did probably the largest amount of macro buys that I've done yesterday, the day before, kind of last week, and then I will probably continue to do so going into this week as well. But as we look at the DMI indicator, this is one that I posted about yesterday, and you can see that we're having bullish momentum on both Bitcoin and Ethereum for the first time in a very long time, ever since all-time highs, really, at around 65K. And the last time we broke out from, oversold levels was basically at 11K, basically the prerequisite to the start of this entire run. So you kind of have to ask yourself, I thought Eric Crumbaker, one of our followers and our one of our valued members, said it very good. The DMI is a lagging indicator. And so if price action is telling us that it's here, if not now, then when? And so I think that, I'm not really the trader that likes to try and predict the market months out. I like to listen to the trend and have it tell me, okay, now is a definite signal to get in. We're seeing tons of signals on the daily chart, like the DMI indicator. We can talk about Keltner channels. We could talk about Bollinger Bands or the MACD or even the RSI. I mean, there are literally every single indicator is looking bullish right now. The only thing that's a little bit hesitant, I would say, is the weekly charts. Of course, because they're a longer time frame, it's going to take a little bit longer for those moving averages to catch up and so forth. Nonetheless, I think we might be at a turning point here, and I've been buying a lot.
That's what I like to hear, CJ. That's what I like to hear. Real quick, we got the third member joining us, fresh off the Money Show, Dr. Doge. He is in the building officially here. How's it going, John?
It's going well, sir. How are you doing today, Monty?
Not bad at all.
I saw that it said that if we have problems with echo, like that's one of the reasons Monty wasn't able to be on with us yesterday, folks. It said, put on a headset. I know you'd appreciate that, Monty.
Well, Monty's got a fresh new mic today, so I don't think we'll have any problems.
Went out, got some new hardware, so we are all set. But yeah, John, we were just talking about how, all these indicators are looking finally bullish for Bitcoin. We're getting a bunch of turn-ups on indicators we haven't seen in a very long time, and pretty much across every time frame, it's looking bullish for Bitcoin for the first time in a few months. Is that kind of what you're feeling too? You feeling bullish on crypto right now?
Yes, sir. One of those things, Monty, that made me bullish on it was I was looking at the BTC open interest calls and puts, and did we show that one yesterday, guys? Did CJ show that chart where it shows the strike prices?
I believe we were talking about the liquidation charts yesterday, but Monty actually posted in our Rebel chat room, the community room, showing that open interest increasing. And that is a sign of buyers coming in the market and momentum building. Is it not?
Oh, yeah. Well, so for instance, where is that one? Let me see if I can share this one, guys. I think I can. Let's see.
Yeah, we can see it.
You see that one now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So going from the far left to the far right, those are levels, of course, for BTC options. And not surprisingly, at 15,000, you have no calls. Why? Because nobody's going to buy a call that's that deep in the money. That's just stupid. It's all puts, and some of those are disaster puts and so forth. And then you've got, as you move into the middle of the chart, you see at 30,000, big put open interest, really big put open interest at 30,000. And then as you go, the biggest open interest of all is at 40 right now. And that's a big chunk is calls. The vast majority of that, call it like 3,300 of the 4,200. So in other words, about 900 or so of those are puts at the 40,000 level. So I thought it was interesting to note that we've come screaming up to those levels, and still we've got that really big open interest at 30,000, probably because so many people bought puts down there, guys. And now they're probably laying into those puts. I bet you, though, that number comes down in the next few days after that big jump from the low 30s all the way up towards 40,000.
Yeah, absolutely, John. And I'm actually glad you brought this up as well, because like CJ mentioned, I was talking with some members in our community about open interest as well. And I thought it was very interesting to note that one of my favorite data analysis firms is Skew. And one thing that we always joke about is that not all open interest is created equal. And, I think that one great metric we have for gauging institutional interest in the space is CME open interest. And it kind of coincides with what you were just saying, John. We're seeing a large uptick in open interest following, this uptick in price. And I think it's just an example of the institutions getting long on Bitcoin. They were waiting for that retail capitulation. They got that short squeeze. And, now I think we're starting to see some institutions stack up some options at those prices you were just talking about, John. And CJ, I know you raised your hand when you mentioned the 30K puts, but I know you as well were looking at some December call options as well. Is that something you're still thinking about perhaps trading?
Oh, no, I just raised my hand because I had the 30 puts at like 32K. And then, last week we talked about getting out of them. Yeah. And good thing I did, I guess. But yeah, no, that was all.
Well,
smart move. And folks, listen to what CJ did too, because again, some of you are going to be tempted to short options in Bitcoin, whether it's a call or a put. If you're bullish, you're shorting a put. If you're bearish, you're shorting a call. Both of them are stupid moves. That's how you get carried out feet first. You do what CJ did. You buy an option. And I'm not a market maker in this. I don't have a vested interest in that, but I'm going to tell you, fastest way to go out feet first is to short either a call or a put in Bitcoin, especially if you're doing it with leverage. If you have a $5,000 or $25,000 account and you lever that 20 to 1, 50 to 1, 100 to 1, you're just begging to be wrecked. And it happened, and it's likely to keep happening because, that's one of those lessons that people aren't as quick to learn. But, that's just a sad truth.
Yeah, it really is. And one thing that I hope traders will kind of learn from is this short squeeze that we had just this week. Even though there is a prevailing trend, don't assume that trend's going to continue, because there are whales and there are, very intelligent traders that will squeeze you out of those positions. And I think that's exactly what we saw. And to your point about leverage, John, as well, that's going to be, I think, one of the most important things going forward is that we don't get too ahead of ourselves and don't, artificially inflate this market with leverage like we did earlier in the year and drive it up to unreasonable levels of 64K. And I think that is something that actually is likely. We've seen, some cutbacks in leverage levels. Binance is already cutting back on the amount of leverage they're offering. And that's something I think we're going to expect to see, pretty much across the board from a lot of these major exchanges. So hopefully retail traders learn and, stop using leverage and stop getting burned by it.
Yeah. Yeah, you could always buy a call spread when you're bullish, buy a put spread when you're bearish. And that's the safest way to participate without the possibility of you getting wrecked. By the way, you guys, there's a big conference going on right now. Not the one that I was just at. That was fun. And it was a accredited investor conference that was online by the Money Show. But there's a big conference, an Ethereum community conference over in Paris, I think. And Vitalik Buterin is speaking there, of course, because he's the co-founder of Ethereum. And watch for some news to be coming out of this conference. Obviously, they're 6 or 7 hours ahead of us, so the conference is winding down today, but it's a 3-day conference. So watch it for the next couple days.
Yeah, I think, one thing I think is going to be really interesting. There was a piece of news that broke yesterday that I just want to quickly highlight. And that is a new options protocol that some of DeFi's leading investors are backing. So this could be something that is mentioned while they're out there in Paris. I think that, this sort of institutional DeFi utility is going to be hugely important for not just DeFi assets, but for ETH as well. So I was very encouraged by the fact that yesterday this news broke that, they're looking at an options protocol that being built on DeFi using some of, our favorite DeFi assets. So I think that could be big. That could be that spark that provides some new capital into the DeFi space and, by proxy brings ETH up, because I think that so far DeFi has been entirely bolstered by retail capital. There's almost no institutional participation in this space as it stands right now. So creating these sort of on-ramps, I think, is going to be, very critical for the success of Ethereum and DeFi going forward.
Well said. And as you guys probably see over on the far right of your screen, bottom right corner, use the promo code REBEL25 over at Voyager when you sign up, and you'll get $25 in Bitcoin for doing it. After you complete your sign up, you get $25 just for putting in REBEL25 over at Voyager. Bang.
Bang, bang. CJ, I know you had one more thing you wanted to mention, one more chart that you thought was relatively bullish and worth mentioning on today's show. So you want to get to that before we wrap things up?
Yeah, we got tons of charts we could go through. Also, Doge of the day, but we'll get to that later as well. Something I wanted to share with you guys and just get your opinion on overall is a chart from our good friend over at Real Vision, Raoul Pal. And that has to do with Bitcoin and its current price versus the 2012 to 2014 cycle. And so, in terms of volatility, I don't know if we can necessarily compare it. Obviously, fundamentally, things are completely different than they were back in those days. But from a trend structural type of perspective, it surely is interesting. And then the second one he posted to kind of follow up to this one was, the non-log chart, just the auto chart. And as you can see, that takes us up to a price of over 200,000, going into 2022, which I think is a bit of a stretch, but nonetheless, it is kind of an interesting bottoming formation that I think is pretty helpful. But I personally do think that kind of target is a little out there. But I'd like to hear what you guys think as well.
Yeah, CJ, I mean, that non-log chart is absolutely ridiculous. I think I'm going to go ahead and put in a sell order for 200K by Christmas. But in all seriousness, I think that adjusted chart with the log chart, I think is actually, a reasonable expectation. People talk about how, there are no parallels between 2013 and now. I would disagree. I think that, given the stock to flow model and Bitcoin's, halving cycle, there are definitely some parallels. Bitcoin does move cyclically. And I think that, looking to the past can tell us a bit about some future price action. But like you pointed out, CJ, in terms of, the fundamental differences, they are very vast. We have completely different players in the space now, completely different, amounts of capital being put in. So, I think the comparison kind of isn't all that much accurate. I don't think that 200K is a likely price target by end of year, but in the sense that, Bitcoin is cyclical and we tend to get moves, in these 4-year market cycles, I think that we can still learn something from looking at these charts from back in 2013 or even back in, more recently in 2017.
Very well said. Very amicable, that answer. I like it.
But you mentioned some doges of the day, my friend. Should we jump right into that?
Well, yeah. Should we start with Dr. Doge? Do you have anything to that?
Right now, guys, I'm still what did I do yesterday, guys? Chainlink, I think. And so Chainlink and Leo are both continuing to work, and I'm sticking with both. So I'd still say Chainlink.
Nice. I actually bought some more Chainlink yesterday myself,
Nice.
so I like to hear that.
How about you, CJ? Fresh one or going back?
Yeah, I'll share a chart. I also want to bring up one thing to just highlight for you guys because it has to do with volume that we're always talking about. But checking out the Trade the Chain dashboard here, look at this right column here when you can see relative trading volume for all of the top crypto assets. We have a 55% increase in relative trading volume in Bitcoin and really all the way down the line. So really exactly what you want to see for bullish price action. This kind of goes in tandem with the open interest really increasing. But my doge of the day today is going to be BitTorrent. It's had a massive spike in volume. It's breaking above those critical levels. And we're actually starting to see these moving averages and these Keltner channels turn up to positive territory. So if we can hold above that top band, I'm going to be looking for price action, specifically bullish price action to really continue. As you can see with that volume candle spike down there, it's really showing that buyers are, I think, pretty excited in this stage of the market cycle. But of course, in terms of an exit, I'd always use this top band as a trailing stop. But yeah, BitTorrent is going to be my doge of the day for that one.
Very nice. Yeah, I did see that volume as well. Definitely worth noting, CJ. And my doge of the day, I mean, not surprisingly, like you pointed out, a lot of these are seeing upticks in volume. But I wanted to look at Aave today. And this is the 4-hour chart. And I thought it was interesting that we saw this nice run up and got a very clean bounce off this moving average. But the reason why I'm picking Aave is for more fundamental reasons. One thing that if you're in the crypto room, you'll know, I like to kind of look at NFTs and kind of study their, fundamental value propositions and look at their potential utility. And one that's being built on Aave is Ghost, GHST. It's a new NFT play with a market cap of currently about 70 million. But, they have been working hard on this. And I think it's one that could potentially provide a lot of new capital flowing into Aave. We've seen NFTs pumping over the last few weeks, like Mana, Engine, and Axie Infinity as well. And I think that Ghost is going to perform tremendously well, which will provide a nice bump in price to Aave. So beyond just the technicals, CJ pointed out the volume profile. Aave has seen a very nice uptick in volume. If you check the daily chart, over the last 10 days, this thing is up over 50% relative trading volume day over day. So I think Aave is looking good. And, given the popularity of NFTs that we've been seeing recently, I think that, their new NFT protocol Ghost could potentially take off here. So that is my doge of the day today, Aave.
Perfect. Well, and keep in mind, folks, if you'd like to go back and forth with the guys and the community, you can join for $1 for your first month, $1 by going to marketrebellion.com/try crypto. That's marketrebellion.com/try crypto. You can join for $1 for an entire month and see indeed how much it does help your trading to be in a community of traders who've got a lot more eyes looking at different asset classes than just one or two. And then to be able to ask questions and go back and forth. I think you'll find it helpful, and I'd encourage you to check it out. Costs you $1. That's pretty cheap to start off.
Yes, it is, John. And CJ mentioned we're getting a bunch of, technical indicators that are turning bullish. For just $1, you can get access to our education curriculum, which you can find on the left-hand side of the Ops Center here in the crypto platform. Just click on education. And we have an extensive education curriculum. CJ's been working on the technical analysis courses. and you can just go ahead and look at all these quizzes or all these courses with quizzes to go along with each. There is a course for pretty much any one of our indicators in the room. So check those out and get a better understanding of what CJ was talking about when he says, everything is looking bullish right now. And that is included in the room for just that $1 for the first month. So definitely go check that out.
Maybe not everything, maybe a couple things on the weekly chart. However, I will say one thing. I've been really impressed by our community members as of late. I mean, Josh Nardi found that failure swing on the RSI in Bitcoin that immediately led after the Amazon news to that short squeeze. Really great call right there, man. But thank you guys for that. You add so much value. So we're really grateful for that. But I'm taking up too much time already.
No, you're all good, CJ. I mean, I want to echo that real quick because I have learned so much from our members, even in just the last 24 hours with this market going crazy. They've been in the room on top of this market 24 hours a day. And it's been a pleasure to chat with you guys. So we really appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time with another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Have a great day, and we will see you again tomorrow. Take care.
Bye.